Hello everyone, this is an introductory video for your coaching of design courses, that is for the entrance tests of B Design Bachelor's in Design, that is UCEED, NID and NIFT. So we will be discussing in this video about the brief on these three examinations. So we will be discussing about the three main design examinations which you have, that is UCEED, NID and also NIFT. In this introductory video, we will be discussing first and foremost a brief on the exam pattern, a brief on these three examinations, what are the number of questions, what is the pattern, that's the first thing we'll be addressing. And then secondly, we will be discussing about a brief timeline, when are these examinations held. Thirdly, we will be discussing the most important thing. We'll be discussing about how to address these examinations and how we at KP Design Studio make you prepare for these examinations, what is the structure we follow and how we go about the courses or the entrance examinations. That's the third thing. And then we will also discuss about the resources which you provide, how we will help you reach your target by clearing these examinations. I'll explain you a brief on the resources which you will be getting from our end. So that's the idea of this video. Let us start firstly by looking into a brief of the structure for these examinations. First and foremost, UCEED exam is conducted for entrance into IITs. Mainly, you all are aware of that. So this is this test is conducted only in one level. So compared to NID and NIFT, in NID and NIFT, you have prelims and mains. Prelims, the initial shortlisting test, and then you have the studio test in NID. In NIFT as well, you have similarly prelims and mains, or in other words, you can call it as a situation test. So it's conducted in two stages. NID also, so we design. If you want to pursue B design at NID, you will need to clear the examination in two stages. NIFT also, you need to do it in two stages. Coming to UCEED, it is only a single stage examination, only a single day examination. So that's the first and foremost clarity which you need to have with respect to these entrance examinations into B design. So coming to the structure of UCEED, you will be having two parts. So it is an examination for a total of 300 marks, of which part A will have a majority of the weightage, that is 240 marks. So these 240 marks, you will be having three types of questions: numerical answer type questions, multiple select questions. So numerical answer type question is where you'll not have any option. You need to type in the numerical value as an answer. You will have 18 such questions. Multiple select questions also, you will have 18 questions, which are basically questions with four options, where multiple answers can be correct, either one option or two or three, or all the four options can also be correct. Then you have 32 multiple choice questions. In this examination, UCEED, main difference, again, one more major difference between UCEED and the other entrance examinations for BDES is the negative marking aspect. In UCEED, there is negative marking in multiple select and multiple choice questions if you have a wrong attempt. So it is very important to focus on the negative marking aspect as also. Now, when will you get an idea or an understanding on how to address exams with negative marking? When you have sufficient practice. So we will also help you in that, and we'll provide you a lot of mock tests as well, so you can have sufficient practice and develop your own strategy to address exams with negative marking. So that's about part A. Part B is basically sketching part, where you will have a single question of 60 marks. 60 marks, single question. So the duration of UCEED is 3 hours, which is divided into 2.5 hours for part A. So it is well defined in the exam. So you will need to attempt part A in 2.5 hours and part B in half an hour. 60 marks for half an hour. That is a single question in part B. Part B will be a pen and paper. So you'll need to use your pencils and then sketch it on a piece of paper. Questions will all be on a computer. It's a computer-based test. So part A is completely computer-based. You will answer your questions also on the computer, but part B, you need to sketch it. So that's the exam pattern for UCEED. It is typically conducted in the month of January. So that's the timeline for this exam. So you have to be well prepared according to that. So by the end of December, you need to be clear and ready with the preparation for the examination. So it is conducted only once in the month of January. So that's about UCEED. Target marks, if you ask me, generally the first ranker range has a marks around somewhere around 150. So depends obviously on the difficulty level of the paper. Typically, if you look into last 5 years, generally the first ranker had a score around 150 to 170 or 180. Right. So if you're targeting for a score for a 150 plus score, you can be assured that you will get into the best IITs, best courses with this entrance examination. You see it. So you have to have a target. Obviously, even if you're scoring around 130, the difficulty level is very high. That probably would give you land you into a very good college, but then target for 150 plus, that would on an average, I'm talking about a medium level paper. So that's a brief on the UCEED question paper. Now coming to the second part, if you want to pursue your redesign in NID, you need to obviously clear the examination prelims and mains of NID. Let us try to get an understanding on the NID's pattern. So as I told you, you have two examinations, prelims and mains. Prelims is generally conducted in the month of January, and mains is generally conducted. So if you qualify your prelims, you can apply for mains, and mains generally is in around the month of June. January and June, that's the target date. So you'll get your results probably in the month of April for prelims. So you should not wait till you get your results for your prelims. So right now, when you join the coaching, you will first focus on the prelims preparation. And once you have completed the prelims examination in Jan, your focus should completely shift towards mains, and the duration from January to June. So those 5 odd months, you'll need to focus on your preparation for mains, where you will be having a studio test. You will need to attempt a personal interview, and you also need to prepare your portfolio. So 5 months is really a tight schedule for your preparation for mains as well. Now, generally, a typical practice in NID and NIFT is there's shortlist. If you're having 100 seats, for example, they'll shortlist around 300 students, thrice the number of seats. So that number of students are generally shortlisted from prelims based on the prelims performance. So generally, probably the group of students who are selected it would be a tough competition, to put it in simple words, right? So you need to be prepared for that with a good portfolio, with a good skill set for your interview, and with a good preparation for material handling in your studio test. So that's a brief on NID's pattern. So I was telling you that there is prelims again has two sections. Section 1 will have, as per the updated pattern, the pattern keeps on changing sometimes, but as per the new pattern, section 1, there are 22 questions, and there are 4 questions in the section 2. Section 2 is where you need to sketch. Again, it is a sketching based test. Second part, the first section is an MCQ based question. 30 marks for the section 1, and the remaining 70 marks is for section 2. So there's a lot of weightage for the sketching part if you observe in the NID examination in the prelims. Only if you qualify prelims, then you'll be having mains. In the mains, you need to attempt your studio test, which mainly focuses on material handling and doodling skills. Then you also have portfolio. So we will assist you in the preparation of a good design portfolio. And then you will also have interviews, so where you will be provided with required guidance for good performance in a design interview. It's not like any other random interview. Right. So that's about NID. Now coming to the third examination, that is NIFT. If you want to pursue your B design at NIFT, so again, it has 2 levels. The initial level prelims is mainly it's an ability test. It's mainly focused on English, simple math. So that's what is basically tested. You will be having approximately around 100 questions in the prelims, and also there is a creative test. That is where you need to sketching. So if you try to observe what is common in all the 3 examinations, there are 2 parts. Even in UCEED, you have a sketching part, 60 marks. Even in NID, you have a sketching part, that is for 70 marks. And even in NIFT, you have a creative ability test, which is which requires the skill set of sketching, and there are 100 questions of aptitude as well. So there's a combination of both MCQ based and also sketching. As I already told you, there is no negative marking in NID and NIFT, but you need to have sufficient exposure to the type of questions which are typically asked. Now, if you look into the official syllabus of UCEED, it is just a indicative one. It is not an exact syllabus. So for all the exams as well, you cannot define, or there's no clear-cut boundary as to what will be asked in the examination. We from our previous experience with more previous tests of these UCEED, NID, NIFT, we have done a thorough analysis of all the previous examinations, and from the skill set we've learned across for the past few years, and also with inputs from NID, NIFT, and IIT MP Design alumni, we have developed a course structure which will cover it will cover almost everything of the official question paper which has been asked previously. So let me move on how we are going to address with these examinations, in which there is no clear-cut boundary for the syllabus as such. So that brings me to the second part. So I told you a brief on the examinations and a brief on the timeline. So this is also in the month of Jan. As far as NIFT is considered, the examination is generally conducted in the month of February, the prelims, and the mains are generally conducted in the month of April. So you see the target days are ranging from January. So January and February for the first phase of examinations. Studio test and situation test. In mains of NIFT, you will be having a situation test. For the studio test and situation test, you will be targeting for the months of April and June. So that's a brief timeline which you need to have clarity on before you prepare for these design examinations. Coming to the second part, that is to understand about the syllabus structure which we follow. So let us try to get an understanding on the course structure. So as far as course structure is considered, we have a set of 8 modules now, which we basically teach to all the students of our design, B design entrance examination batches. So depending on the examination which you are targeting for, the module of importance can change. So we have a total of 8 modules, as I told you. There are some modules which are important only for NIFT exam. There are some modules which are important for all the 3 examinations. So you will get a detailed understanding on what to target on when you enroll into the course program. So now many students ask us, can we prepare for all the 3 exams simultaneously? Absolutely yes. So we have designed the course module in such a way that it will help you prepare for all the examinations. But then, if you have decided, no, I want to pursue my bachelor's only in NIFT, even if that is something which you have decided, no worries, we will let you know what all to focus on. We'll guide you accordingly. So you can either select a college or you can prepare for all the 3 examinations simultaneously. That said, let me give you an idea on the course structure. The first module is Basics of Design, where we basically focus on the basic concepts of design like color theory, principles of design, and the basic applications of design. So that is the first aspect, which is basics of design, which is important for all the design courses for that matter. The second module is visualization of objects. Visualization of objects, which focuses on how to visualize various 2D and 3D objects. Questions from this part were also asked in all the 3 examinations. Now, the name of the topic would seem similar. If you ask me, there are questions of visualization in NID, there are questions of visualization of objects in UCEED as well, but the nature of questions is much different. So how will you be prepared for that? For that purpose, we have practice sheets specifically designed for each examination. So the practice sheet for UCEED will be a separate practice sheet with questions of pattern asked in the previous UCEED exams only, and which will meet the level of UCEED pattern. So you need to focus on the practice. So our course structure is designed not only with some random subjects where you will be taught how to visualize objects. No, that's not where we end. This is just an introductory part where you learn about the concepts, but the major focus will always be on the practice. Previous exam questions will be practiced in the class. You will be provided with enough number of practice sheets and practice questions for each and every module, each and every subject for that matter. So that's module number 2, where you visualize objects, 2D and 3D objects. Could be a simple 3D object like a cube. It could range to complex figures also, how to visualize them, how to count the surfaces, how to visualize folding and unfolding of surfaces. So that is something which you study in the second module. The third module is basically design applications. This is the most elaborate. Design applications is the most important and the most elaborate module as well. It ranges from simple concepts like understanding font, various types of font, and it could range into complex topics like product design as well. So design application ranges from this logo design, product design, understanding the functionality of objects, understanding functionality of designs, understanding usability and stability of various objects. So all these are covered under design applications with uh, with consideration to the pattern of the questions asked in the examinations. So there are questions in UCEED which ask you about stability of various objects, usability of various objects. You have questions in NID asking questions about various logos. You in fact need to also design musket designing. There is in the NID part, I already told you. In the creative part, you also have those questions of sketching, which will include logo design, musket designing. So you will be taught how to design objects. Design applications is something focusing mainly on applying the basics of design and your principles of designing. So basically will help you in creative thinking. That is basically taught under design applications. Fourth module is sketching and composition. It is not sufficient for you to have creativity. It is not sufficient for you to have creative thinking or design skills for these examinations. Ultimately, it comes down to how do you represent your skills. So when you sketch on a piece of paper, be it UCEED, be it NID, or be it NIFT. In all the three examinations, you need to sketch and show your designs. So ultimately, it comes down to how well you're representing your ideas, how well you're representing your designs. So the sketching and composition focuses on the basic skills required for good representation of your designs. Whatever, it could be a simple one like a composition, a normal composition design, or it could be a normal logo design. How to represent it, or if you're having a situation, how to sketch it with the human anatomy, how to sketch human figures, how to show shadows, how to draw using the skills of perspective. All these will be taught under sketching and compositions. Sketching and composition is mainly for the paper-based sketching which you do and how to represent your ideas to score well. So those, if you see majority of the weightage, 60 marks of weightage in UCEED, 70 marks of weightage in NID. So a lot of weightage is given to the sketching part, so that the required skill set will be developed under this module number 4. Enough practice, class practice will be conducted for you. And also you will you can get a guidance. So when if you're allotted some homework, you send them through the app, and our teachers will give you a response, give you the feedback, so that you can improve in the course of the preparation for your examination. That is module number 4. Coming to module number 5, it is logical reasoning, or I can simply call it as reasoning, which is very important for examinations like NIFT. Probably in NIFT examination, you need not focus much on visualization of objects as such. It is not something which is very important from NIFT point of view. But logical reasoning becomes very important from NIFT point of view. It is very important from UCEED point of view as well. So logical reasoning will cover various areas covered within itself, like you have numerical reasoning, you have diagrammatic reasoning, you also have verbal reasoning. So all the aspects of verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, and also diagrammatic based reasoning. All these will be taught to you in the classes. So there are you will be shared with a detailed list of subjects under each and every module. But in this session, we are just focusing on an overview, getting an idea on how we are going to prepare. So under logical reasoning, it ranges on various topics like sequences, uh, uh, you also have pattern sequences, you also have logical interpretations. So all these will be taught under the 5th module. Now moving on to the next one, module number 6 is quant. quantitative aptitude. Under quantitative aptitude, you will basically learn basics of geometry, which are asked in both UCEED and also in NID examination. So it's not something which is uh, uh, very important from NIFT point of view again. So which module is important for which exam? You will get a clarity on that uh, uh, once we start with the course. So we will guide you. It's not that all the modules are equally important for all the examinations. No, it's not that. If you're preparing only for NIFT, then probably you can skip out some modules from this. But if you're preparing for all the three examinations, then you need to follow this comprehensive module structure, which I'm discussing over here. So number 6 is quant. Module number 7 is verbal ability. Verbal ability is tested in it is a part of the official syllabus of UCEED. It is asked in NID. It is also a major part in the NIFT prelims examination. So it is important for all the three exams. That is module number 7. Module number 8 finally is GK and current affairs, which is only important for NIFT examination. So it is only for NIFT. If you're not preparing for NIFT, if you're preparing only for B design at NID and also IITs, then you can skip probably this part of GK and current affairs. But we strongly recommend for students who are pursuing or planning to pursue B design, we strongly recommend them to prepare all the all the three examinations. It is not difficult to prepare for all the three examinations if you follow this comprehensive structure, which will cover everything for all the three exams. So that is the 8-module structure which we follow. That's about the design. That's about the syllabus details. I'm not going into the syllabus details of all the three examinations individually. I just gave you an overview of what we follow as a syllabus. So this will cover everything of all the three examinations. So you need not worry about if something is missing or something would be missed or something, right? All the aspects of all the three examinations will be covered under these 8 modules. These 8 modules. Finally, what are the resources? Now, okay, it is clear that you have these 8 modules, but what are the resources which we will be providing you for your preparation, or how you basically will need to prepare? First and foremost, the most important of all is obviously live online classes. So it's not a recorded lecture. It's something where the tutor would come live and explain you the concerned topic. So we have all our faculty team are experts in the domain which they are basically considered they are teaching. So we generally have IIT and NIFT or NID alumni teaching you the basic design aspects. So that's how we go about it. So live online classes. And the one more additional thing about live online classes is all these classes will be provided with a recorded backup. If you happen to miss some lecture, or if you happen to if you happen to have some doubt in some particular lecture, you can always go back to the app and watch the recorded backup. All the lectures will be provided with a recorded backup till the date of the examination on your KP classes app. So all the resources which I'm talking about, including the live online classes, recorded backup of them, and the practice sheets, everything will be provided on your KP classes mobile application. So that's the first resource, live online class with recorded backup on the KP classes app. The second important resource is practice sheet. I already told you there is a lot of emphasis on the practice part, because if you look into the concept wise, if you study visualization of objects and learn 1 or 2 questions, that's not something we do. We practice a lot of questions from the previous examinations or questions developed by a faculty team which meet the standards of the concerned examination. So a lot of practice questions will be done in the class, and also you will be provided with a practice sheet for your homework or for your self practice as well. That is second resource. The third resource is the test series. Test series will offer you a wide range of tests, including sectional tests. Sectional tests are basically topic-wise tests for each of, like for example, if you have covered the concept of folding and unfolding, you will have a separate sectional test for that particular topic. If you're preparing for UCEED, you will have a sectional test of UCEED level. If you're preparing for NID, you will have a sectional test of NID level. If you're preparing for NIFT, you will have a sectional test of NIFT level. If you're preparing for all the three, then you can attempt all the sectional tests of all the three examinations. So wherever required. Now there are some topics where the level is similar for all the three, like basics of design. principles of design or color theory. So those concepts are similar for all the three examinations. So you might have a common sectional test, but wherever there is a requirement, we have separate sectional tests for each examination also. So that is sectional or topic wise tests for each exam. Then you also have mock tests. So like UCEED, so you have a complete mock test which replicates, so 18 numerical questions, 18 multiple select questions, 32 multiple choice questions, the actual pattern of UCEED paper. In the same pattern, you will be having a mock test where you can attempt the test, answer the test, and also review your score. What are the mistakes you've done with explanations for all the questions? You can find that on the app itself. So mock tests, sectional tests, mock tests which replicate the original pattern of the exam, and also the previous papers. Previous exam papers with detailed explanation and solutions will be available for your self-preparation. So there is equal importance on the classes and also the self-preparation aspect. So 2 and 3 basically focuses on self-preparation. We provide you the best available sources for your preparation. It is you who need to work on these two aspects of practice sheets, homework sheet, test series, sectional mock tests, previous papers. If you practice all these questions and attempt all the live online classes, you can gain a lot of confidence before you go on to the actual examination. And as I told you, all these resources will have a single pointed access on the KP Classes app, so that there is no confusion for you, or no confusion as to searching each resource on a different platform. Um, that said, you will also be provided with all the required material for your self-study whenever, wherever there is a requirement. So that is about the resources. So I hope you have a clarity now about the basic pattern of these three examinations, basic idea on the understanding of the syllabus and how we go about it, and also on the resources which we will be providing to you on the KP Classes app. Thank you, everyone.